Alrighty, what's going on everybody? Ninja Star here, and today we are back at it again with a Dragon Ball video for you all. Now today's Dragon Ball video is going to be once again reflecting back at the series, talking about some older stuff that I find really fascinating and I really want to share with you guys my thoughts on it, me analyzing it bit by bit and stuff. And in today's video we're going to be discussing Dragon Ball sacrifices. Now the definition of a sacrifice basically means that giving your own life or giving one of your most prized things, such as, you know, like let's say a life, and doing it for the sake of someone else or many other people. It's a selfless thing that's not selfish in the slightest. You're doing this usually for someone else or something else or anything like that. It's not for your own cause. You're doing it for someone else. That's the basic meaning of it. And in Dragon Ball, we've had a few sacrifices that have been so notable, so memorable, that even though, you know, they got resurrected with the Dragon Ball's later words in the series, we were still like intrigued as to how this happened and like, wow, this is so epic, that's so heroic and stuff like that. And I think some of these moments that I'm going to be mentioning soon are going to be probably some of the best in the entire franchise. Not just talking about the sacrifices alone, but easily like top 5 in the whole series. So without further ado, I'm going to be discussing the greatest Dragon Ball sacrifices in all of the series. This will be including Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, and Dragon Ball Super. And yeah, let's just get right into it. Now, there will be, you know, like 2 mini honorable mentions at the end of this video due to the fact that these aren't really like huge sacrifices or anything like that. They're sort of in a sense, but I still want to mention them at the end of the day, so I'll save those for the end. But for right now, I'm going to go in chronological order for how it was. And starting off, we have Goku sacrificing himself against Raddatz. Now, Goku and Piccolo were on Earth, you know, just having it was a peaceful time for like 5 years or something like that, right after their battle, and then Raddatz comes in telling Goku he's a Saiyan, and it's like a huge plot twist, almost like a, what do you call it, like a retcon in many ways, as to we didn't really realize that Goku was a Saiyan this whole time, an alien. Like, sure, we got hints of it here and there, but we didn't really think it would really, he'd actually be not even human. So that was really wild to think about, and it was happening so suddenly. And then Goku and Piccolo, they have to form an alliance to take down Raddatz. Raddatz is a really powerful threat. Goku and Piccolo are able to hold in their own here and there, and Goku, we haven't really seen him die throughout like the entire series. Like, of course, figuratively speaking, like in all of Dragon Ball so far, because this is the beginning of Dragon Ball Z. So we hadn't really seen him do that, but we've seen him like see other people dead. Like, look at the Krillin incident. His best friend just died right there. He wouldn't have expected it. It was right after a tournament as well. So, you know, right after that tournament, you learn after you lost a battle and stuff, and then, you know, your best friend is dead. Like, that's really scary to think about. Roshi died as well. Many other people died in the original Dragon Ball. It was really dark. We're also like really close to Goku, but Goku himself has never officially died, and until now, of course. And what happened here was the fact that Goku was like, you know what, Raddatz is pretty much going to destroy the Earth here. Piccolo, we gotta team up. And Piccolo has a special beam cannon. We have that right there. You know, Piccolo's charging it up, getting ready, because earlier he did try to do it against Raddatz. Didn't turn out very well. So, of course, they still have one more shot, and if he has enough energy to do one more, because special beam cannon is a very stamina-inducing move, so, you know, he has to get it ready one more time. Goku actually has an idea, pretty much full Nelson's Raddatz into trapping him and making sure the Earth is safe once and for all. This is, and of course, you know, Piccolo pretty much kills not only Raddatz, but has also Goku as well. So even though, you know, Piccolo was the one to kill Goku, it was really Goku's sacrifice. Like, Piccolo couldn't have just killed Goku right there. Goku kind of requested to be killed in a sense, due to the fact that, you know, wanted to keep the Earth safe, didn't want any more issues. And after this, you know, Raddatz just tells him, you know, there are more Saiyans coming to Earth and stuff. So Goku did this noble thing that we've never really seen him do before. Sure, Goku is a noble character, but we've never seen him actually die. And for his first death here, it was an honorable sacrifice. And of course, you know, even though this would seem like it would save all the problems, only bigger things were to come in the future. And I think this really did set the bar for not only, you know, the sacrifices in Dragon Ball like future to come, but it also set the bar for what Dragon Ball Z is going to be like. Now, the next sacrifice that I have on my list is also from the Saiyan Saga, and it's during the actual battle. So after roughly like a year or so has passed, after, you know, the Saiyans came, after roughly a year or so has passed, you know, when Raddatz came to Earth, Goku was killed, Piccolo had to kill both of them, so they had to get ready for the Saiyans to come in the near future. When the Saiyans actually do come, you know, we saw the Cybermen blow up Yamcha, and, you know, Yamcha's pretty much dead right there. Chaozu had to sacrifice, kind of sacrifice himself to kill Nappa, and I would have that on here because that was a sacrifice one way or the other, because Chaozu was not a bad character. It's just the fact that, for the impact that it was there, it was definitely a powerful moment between him and Tien, but the problem is I don't think it was that impactful, but then again, there will be one later in this list that didn't have as much of an emotional impact. It was mostly towards Tien where that emotion was really hitting hard, but either way, you know, after Chaozu killed himself by accident, hope he did take Nappa with him, but it didn't work. Ten Shinhan not only lost his arm to Nappa, but also ended up pretty much burning himself out and dying. And here we have, you know, Piccolo, Krillin, and Gohan. Goku's still nowhere here yet, and they're all having to face off against this Nappa, essentially. And, you know, after missing some blows, you know, Gohan is pretty much... He missed this perfect opportunity to take out Nappa because he was too scared. He was going back to those childish roots when, you know, friggin' Piccolo was training him for a whole year. And, you know, Gohan doesn't take any of that into consideration, just becomes a coward once again. Piccolo doesn't tolerate any of this. He's pissed off. He's just like, you know what, Gohan, get out of the battle. And then that's when we see, you know, a little bit right afterwards, Nappa's getting ready to attack Gohan for what Gohan did, because Gohan did actually have a rage boost against Nappa, which is a very interesting element they added right there. Again, foreshadowing Gohan's future rage in the future, but back to the topic at hand. As we see, Gohan is very tired after that one, like, fatal blow on Nappa, and then Nappa just gets ready for a Bomber DX, pretty much almost kills Gohan, but that's when Piccolo comes in out of nowhere, when we didn't expect him. When we thought Piccolo was dead earlier, but he ended up surviving, this time he's legit dying for real. And the impact in this scene, not only was the animation fantastic, not only was the art so well done in the manga, and the art and animation was really consistent in this scene with how Toei did it. The voice acting was there in English and Japanese. It was very strong. The music was like, the way it was done was so like, wow, we didn't really see this coming. And then it's just like, that's wild to think that Piccolo, the guy who's kind of like getting on Gohan this whole time, actually saves his own pupil who wasn't really taking all of his advice. Gohan is kind of scared and unsure about Piccolo's sacrifice, and Piccolo just says, Gohan, you're a good kid, just, you know, keep doing you, and then dies. So that was a really impactful moment right there. Gohan is like kind of left in shock and just doesn't know what to think at the moment, and then, you know, Goku comes in. But overall, the scene where Piccolo saves Gohan not only showed that after 1 year Piccolo has an attachment to Gohan, but also shows that, you know what, it's because of Gohan that made Piccolo such like a developed character overall. Had it not been for Gohan, Piccolo wouldn't have been the same and wouldn't have gone to the feats to save Gohan overall and stuff. So there's that. That's the last one in the Saiyan saga, at least. Now, the next one that I have is really actually fast-forwarding, which is kind of funny, because in Frieza Saga, we had like, you know, we had Goku's sort of sacrifice against Frieza. It wasn't all that much. It was kind of just, yeah, it was like a little in-between type thing, because the thing is Goku, he didn't end up dying at the end of the day, so I can't really call that a sacrifice, but he was willing to give up his own life just to duel off against Frieza. But then again, you could argue that was a little more, some people see it as selfish, some people see it as noble. I personally see it as noble, just to stall Frieza, get him away, you know, get this last duel in, because, you know, Goku's already gone Super Saiyan, he might lose a little control here, so, you know, just tells him go away. That was kind of a sacrifice, but I'm not fully incorporating that on this list. What I am incorporating on this list, though, is words in the Cell Saga, not even the Cell Saga, the Cell games. It's towards the climax of it. Gohan's already gone Super Saiyan 2. He's kind of pummeling on Cell, and, you know, after he's pummeling on Cell and everything like that, Cell actually ends up spitting out Android 18, which is, yeah, kind of a yikes moment, but either way, you know, Cell is very weakened, but he has one more trump card that he can potentially use to take everyone else out with him. This self-destruction will not only take himself out, but pretty much such a giant explosion overall that could potentially wipe out the whole Earth. Actually, not even potentially, it probably was, and at the end of the day, so no one really saw this coming, and because of the fact that it was so fast and so sudden, you can't really do anything against this bomb. So how are you gonna move it so far? Oh wow, Goku actually comes in, and Goku, the guy who's kind of been sitting back for most of this battle, kind of watching Gohan, watching his son develop like this, really proud of him, You know what Goku does? He actually ends up says, bye guys, like, thank you all so much, and I'm gonna have to take care of this. Everyone's like, he's like, take care of Gohan, everything like that. Gohan, you've been a very good son, and you've been a great person overall. Just gives his like little last minute farewell. It's such a beautiful scene overall, and Goku just, we kind of see it coming from his finger positioning, from the way he's looking at them. We kind of do see it coming, but at the same time, it's like it's such a noble death, because Goku is doing this for the sake of not only, like, you know, defending the earth, but he doesn't want Gohan to just die like this. He's giving his, like, kind of passing the torch to Gohan in a sense, because he has faith in his son, and eventually he's gonna die as well. And the time came right here. Goku is gonna die. He instant transmissioned, or instantaneous movement, doesn't matter, translation, you know, completely goes to King Kai's place, because this is the fastest thing you can think of. We get a little comedic moment right there with King Kai, Goku, all this stuff. Cell doesn't even expect it, and blows up. That's wild. Such a noble death for Goku. And it's been used in many other, like, media as well, Goku's noble death right here, and it's still one that's remembered by many Dragon Ball fans to this day. So even after all this, you know, Cell does end up coming back, and Gohan has to kind of hold off on his own, showing that Goku really did mean it when he believed in his son and passed the torch. And what do you know, Gohan actually did end up beating Cell. So that was a great sacrifice overall. And I think the emotion of the Cell Saga and the emotion of Father-Son Kamehameha wouldn't have been as strong had we not seen Goku die earlier. So there's that right there. That's one very strong one that everyone always remembers when they think of. But the next one that I have on my list is pretty much the last one of the little Dragon Ball Z section, because, you know, I love the original Dragon Ball. It's my favorite one, but the sacrifices on there weren't as big, but there were still some really interesting ones, because there are some that would seem like sacrifices in a sense, but really, they aren't really classified. Like, at first, you know, Bora's death, I was gonna put that on there, but then I rewatched that scene, I'm like, wait, that's not a sacrifice. So there was that. There was also a few other scenes from the original Dragon Ball I thought were sacrifices, but then again, it had, I guess I must have thought differently, and it's a good thing I rewatched them, because this video would just been misinformed. But back to the topic at hand here. The next one on this list, the last one of Dragon Ball Z, is going to be, you all know this one. You all, like, this is in the thumbnail, first of all, and this is the one that many people regard as the greatest sacrifice in all of Dragon Ball Z. It has to be Vegeta sacrificing himself against Majin Buu in the Buu Saga. Now, Vegeta sacrificing himself against Majin Buu in the Buu Saga is probably one of the most iconic moments for not only Vegeta, but for Dragon Ball in general, due to the fact that Vegeta, so far, we've seen him kind of do this selfish desire. He, you know, Majin Vegeta, for the sake of he wanted to go up against Goku, he was willing to actually, like, not even take into consideration, he had the chance to defeat something that would destroy the whole earth, yet he just said, screw it, I don't care about that, I have to do something else for my own selfish reason. And a lot of people didn't like that. I personally love Majin Vegeta. Actually, no, most people actually do love Majin Vegeta. They just, you know, were a little pissed, like, come on, dude, Majin Vegeta could have easily, like, helped out and stuff, but no, he didn't. Vegeta did this for his own selfish reason, and a lot of us were like, you know, what have you become, Vegeta? So, even after, you know, getting possessed by Babidi, making that deal, he saw the pride of a Saiyan in him, and the main reason for why he did this, he wouldn't have even cared about Babidi had it not been for the chance to go up against Goku. So there was that, you know, Vegeta was going up against Goku, everything like that. That fight in general just bought out time for Majin Buu to come out and everything like that. What do you know? Buu did end up coming out. Goku's badly defeated, first of all, and he's kind of on the verge of death had he not have been saved last minute. Anyways, Vegeta is pretty much Vegeta's aware that Boo's here. Boo's kind of wreaking havoc, and that's when, like, right after this battle and everything like that, he goes and, you know, he kind of gives us, like, a little mutual look to Piccolo, like, you know, I'm going to have to do this, because I understand that, you know, I did do this selfish thing, but I always have to save the Earth to honor Goku's, you know, what Goku would do in this situation as well. And Piccolo's like, okay, I get you, and, you know, after he sees Kid Trunks, after he sees Goten, we all know what he's going to do. He's like, Trunks, take care of, you know, Bulma and everything like that. The kids are a little unsure, they're a little uncomfortable, and then Vegeta actually hugs Trunks, something he's never done before, and that's a very emotional moment right there. And then, of course, you know, he knocks them both out, but that's for their safety alone. That's when, he's like, okay, guys, this is farewell. Where will I go after this? Piccolo just tells him, like, yeah, you're probably not going to end up in the place you'd want to. And then, Vegeta understands, but that doesn't, completely stop him from doing this. He still does this, and his scene against Majin Buu. Buu is completely childish. He's this monster. But then Vegeta is willing to take out his own life just to defeat this villain who he could have easily just, like, wanted to have fun with, have like the little pride of a Saiyan where I'm gonna, go up against I'm gonna do this for my own enjoyment. Vegeta actually knows he doesn't really have a chance that much against Buu. He just needs to save the Earth once and for all. There's this extremely noble scene where he's kind of thanking everyone, even Goku as a matter of fact, and the OST, the voice acting, everything like that, the animation, the art, everything. It was such a great scene overall. Such an iconic one as well. We would think that Majin Buu is completely wiped out. And honestly, if the arc ended like this, I would not be too mad. That's all I'm saying. But of course, they had to venture into other things like Buu actually did end up coming back. So Vegeta's sacrifice was kind of worthless in a sense. Because, yeah, it didn't really seem that much, but for the time being where we thought Majin Buu actually did die, it was a just incredible scene for Vegeta overall. It shows how he's developed as a character, and I love the scene, personally. It's such a memorable one for many Dragon Ball fans like myself. And yeah, that's just been basically all of the ones for Dragon Ball Z. Now, going into the two, like, semi-honorable mentions, I still want to bring these up, because these are great scenes overall. I mentioned earlier that in the original Dragon Ball, we didn't really get that many sacrifices, but I think one that's really interesting is Master Roshi trying to save himself against King Piccolo. Or not save himself, sorry, save another against King Piccolo. The Mafu Ba was, obviously, as you know, for those who haven't seen the original Dragon Ball, the Mafu Ba was introduced there, before Dragon Ball Super, so Roshi has a full mastery of his technique, from his master, of course, and we see this is quite a risky move, because it requires so much stamina, and it can potentially wipe you out, if you don't play your cards right, and Roshi, he was willing to take this 50-50 chance if he himself is going to get wiped out, just to trap King Piccolo once and for all, because King Piccolo killed one of his own pupils in a sense, Krillin, and he's done these horrible things as well, and this King Piccolo guy is really something who is the embodiment of evil, and Roshi doesn't want people like this in the world. Roshi is a very humble man, despite, having these perverted actions. Roshi is a wise man overall, and he knew what to do in this situation. He was like, you know what, I'm gonna take the chance that I might die if I need to take out King Piccolo. And we see this moment where he gets the Mafuba ready, just completely traps gets the better of King Piccolo, as a matter of fact, and, it's wild, like, we didn't really see anything like this coming. There's this green attack going, and there's like a little wavy, almost like air, the air kind of completely changes around everyone, and Master Roshi pretty much seems like he has King Piccolo in hand, until King Piccolo does end up actually breaking out, and Roshi kind of loses control, and for his death, Roshi dies to the Mafuba because he didn't play his cards right, and he took the chance. He thought he could at least take out King Piccolo, because he didn't do this for the sake of, like, I'm just doing this. Like, the thing is he could have easily, like, King Piccolo really did seem impossible, so this seemed like the only way to trap darkness into the ultimate attack that kind of counters all that, and that's what it would have came off like, but the problem was that it kind of didn't really do anything, and that really did blow, because Master Roshi kind of died for nothing. But I still do think the scene is really well done, because none of us really see it coming. We're like, wow, Roshi died a noble death, trying to save the lives of others, but ended up dying himself, and his sacrifice didn't do all that much, other than give fuel for Goku to pretty much attack King Piccolo and defeat him once and for all. So that was, I guess, one good thing that came out of it, but aside from that, I didn't really, think about it too much, because due to the fact that isn't as much of a blatant sacrifice as this is, as the ones I mentioned on this list, but I still do think that's an interesting one to be noted. The next one that I have is also from, actually no, it's not also, it's actually from Dragon Ball Super. And Dragon Ball Super, I know, this may surprise some people, and other people may think other things. Pretty much Piccolo kind of saving Gohan in the Resurrection F arc, and even though I will say that Resurrection F arc is kind of atrocious, what Piccolo did right here was still not only paying homage to what happened in the Saiyan Saga, but also shows that even after all this, even after Gohan has kind of gotten a lot stronger, even though at this point he was weaker. He'd still developed all this much. Piccolo was still willing to defend Gohan if he needed it. And Gohan did need that, but guess what? Piccolo did end up saving Gohan when he was about to get completely obliterated. And this was obviously an homage to Saiyan Saga, and Piccolo did end up dying. So that was really crazy to think about, you know? Like, Piccolo went through all this trouble to go train Gohan. You know, Gohan doesn't really wants to pursue something else, so you know that's completely fine. And then, you know, even after this, Piccolo's accepting because he's like, you know what, I've made you into a man and I'm proud of you. So when Piccolo does that, it's a really nice thing overall. But basically afterwards, Piccolo has to be the noble person that he was in the Saiyan Saga, so to show that, you know what, I'm gonna have to defend Gohan at the end of the day. Even if, you know, he's become so strong, I'm still his mentor, so I have to do these things to protect him. He has a longer life ahead of him. I have faith in him and stuff like that. So that's kind of what Piccolo did, and he sacrificed himself against Gohan. Now, I didn't feel like this scene was that impactful, to be honest. The way Toei did it, it was alright. You know he was going to get resurrected by the Dragon Balls, let's be real, but even after all that, it just didn't feel like that strong overall. But at the end of the day, it still is an interesting sacrifice to be known, and I did want to mention it because it is a sacrifice one way or the other. But yeah, guys, that's been my extremely long video, like 25 minutes long. We're going here. It's going to be shortened because I have to cut out a few things. But either way, I hope you all enjoyed this video of me just talking about the greatest Dragon Ball sacrifices in the whole show. There are plenty of other deaths, sure, but I didn't really feel like they were really sacrifices as they were, you know, like, cause sacrifices are meant to be like noble, meant to hopefully get the better out of something else, to give something away in a sense, and you know that's what a lot of these moments were, and that's why I really enjoyed talking about it with you guys, because you could tell I really was passionate about this topic due to how long this video is. I didn't even expect it to be this long, but it was. I hope you guys get what I was trying to say to you all. And what are your guys' thoughts on these whole Dragon Ball sacrifices? Do you feel the same way? Do you feel like these Dragon Ball sacrifices were really impactful, or do you think they were just like, not that great? Either way, I want to hear your guys' favorite Dragon Ball sacrifices in the comments down below, and the most noble ones as well. So yeah, that's just been this video. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and Ninja, peace everybody, and have a good day.